Hello, writers. It's me, Rick Verde, and I'm here to discuss the ending to your novel. And I got 5 easy tips to help you write the perfect conclusion to your work of art. Stay tuned. Tip number one is to narrow your protagonist's options. Okay, so your entire book should be leading to this point where your protagonist has pretty much done everything they can to avoid the one thing they don't want to do or avoid something they fear. Uh, but now they have no choice but to face this fear or to go down this path that they had been avoiding throughout the whole book. This is a great way to build suspense and to lead to a great climax. And your antagonist should be doing everything throughout the whole book to throw out any chance of the protagonist from getting away from facing this one path. And if you're able to accomplish this goal, you will have an awesome ending to your book. So just think about it. Just plot it out so that there's no other way for your protagonist to avoid this one path, whether it's something they fear or something they've been avoiding. Um, so just think about it. If your uh, protagonist has a fear of heights or something, maybe the final scene takes place at a high building. I don't know. Just whatever it is that your protagonist fears or something they've been avoiding doing. It doesn't have to be a thriller. It could be something uh, personal drama. Maybe your protagonist has been avoiding coming out to their family or something like that. Uh, Maybe that's your ending. They have to come out to their family. Just that makes for a better ending. It's something they've been avoiding doing. Just make them go down that path. That's tip number one. Tip number two is make your protagonist's life hell. Okay? Just throw everything you can at them. This should be the most fun you have as a writer. This is where you get to throw everything at them and just try to see how they find their way through. But try to make it as realistic as possible. Um, because I've read books before where people, uh, the protagonist in the book is getting everything bombarded at them, and in the last 10 pages, they figure it out uh, by some stupid happenstance, and it's over. And by the time the book, you flip over to the last page, you go, no, no, no way. They did not just beat some mastermind or get through this problem they are having in their life with just some stupid idea that came out of their pocket in the last second. It just doesn't, it's not believable. But try to make their lives a living hell. So when the book comes to a conclusion, and if you have a good ending to it, it does feel, like, oh, I went through it with them, and it feels good to see them pull through. So that's tip number two. Just keep it realistic, but make their lives a living hell. You should have fun with this part. Use parts of your life. If you're seeing things happening in your life and you just want to throw it on someone else, just throw it at your characters if you have to. It's good therapy. So that's tip number two. Make your protagonist's life a living hell. Tip number three is to resolve all storylines. This is something that a lot of young writers make an error on. I've done a lot of arc reading, and I don't know how many times I've gone back to people and told them your storyline is not finished. They focus mainly on the protagonist, but they have sub storylines going on that they don't resolve, and it leaves you cringing at the end because you want to know what's going on with that. And unless you're planning on some type of sequel or something going on, all storylines need to be resolved at the end. Otherwise, you're just gypping your readers and you're making them feel like you think they're idiots for not noticing that. So don't be lazy. Either plot everything out, outline it, just make sure every storyline is completed. All right, tip number four has to do with sappy contemplations. I don't know if you've read many of these books where the story ends and there is like about 3, 4, 5, 6 chapters left, and you're going, why are there still so many chapters left? The book has ended. I know what's happened. unless there's some type of surprise, and you read the last 6 chapters and nothing's happened except for the main character is just sitting there, maybe staring out somewhere. Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol. I think the last 3 chapters is him staring at the sun, uh, and contemplating everything that's happened and just asking philosophical questions. And it's just the most boringest thing ever. I think it was one of the worst books I've ever read in my life. Um, and there's even it happens in movies sometimes, like Lord of the Rings. I mean, the trilogy was amazing, but the last movie with Frodo reuniting with his friends, then it just felt like the ending should have ended about 20 minutes earlier, and it just kept going on and on and on. The sappy endings are atrocious. They kill the mood of the book. Your book could have been amazing, but then you add in like 5 chapters of sappy ending. Those have got to be cut out. So just be weary of your sappy endings. Avoid them as much as possible. So that's tip number 4. Tip number 5: end strong. Try to avoid any crazy twist endings here that take away from the great story you've written. There's nothing worse than a ridiculous twist at the very end. I hate it in books. I hate it in movies. I know a lot of people do. It's just does not make any sense. You need to develop your character, and what has to happen is however your protagonist started at the beginning, he has to be completely different, or she has to be completely different at the end. We don't need a trick ending. Now, plot twists are great if they're scattered throughout the whole book, but at the very, very end, we don't need one. We just need the book to end. Remember, we started reading from page 1 and we read throughout the whole book, so we were with this character throughout the whole thing. The last thing we want to feel is gypped at the very end. And I've read a couple of books like this where at the very, very end, the character gets some crazy plot twist that all of a sudden you just want to throw the book out the window. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The best one I could think of that I read that I was really into until the very end, where there was a plot twist, was probably The Third Twin. It was just ridiculous and just dumb and just took all the energy out of the book for me. So just avoid really ridiculous plot twists at the end. Just finish strong. That's the best tip I can give you. 2 quick bonus tips for you guys. One is, if your novel is part of an extended series, let the reader know. In case you do have plot holes in the book, that way the reader knows, hey, maybe these questions that I have are answered in another book, and now they're enticed to read your other novel. My second one is, sometimes it is best to write the ending to your book first, so that way you have an idea of how you're going to get there after you start writing your book. So you write your ending first and then begin writing, and then you have an idea, oh, okay, I need to get to this point. From here to there, how do I do that? I've been doing that. It's helped me a lot, and it's just a trick I've used. I've been in other writing workshops where people have told me they've done this trick and it's helped them a lot, so I'm just passing it on to you. See if it helps you. If it doesn't, that's okay. You write whatever way you feel comfortable, but it's a little trick I've learned. If this video has helped you out, give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe, hit that bell, leave comments below. I will get back to you as soon as I can, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy writing, and I hope you write right now.